Allen. We remember our friends and family with the Department of Housing and Urban Development, 7th floor, Joanne Wittenberg.
Today, Oklahoma remembers the 1995 federal Murrah building bombing by reading the victims' names and honoring the lives lost.
This year marks the 27th anniversary since that fateful day. Many Oklahomans' lives were lost and forever changed on April 19, 1995.
Thank you for joining us. I'm Jessica Morales.
And I'm Patrick Talbot. Welcome to U Central News.
168 people died and many people were injured in this catastrophe. My aunt was one of many survivors. Here's her story.
27 years ago today, my family was changed forever. What was supposed to be just an average Tuesday in April for my aunt turned out to be a horrific tragedy for many.
I'm Diane Dooley, and I'm a survivor of the Oklahoma City bombing.
She remembers that morning like it was just yesterday.
What really strikes me first is that it really was just a typical morning. It was April the 19th, and it was a beautiful spring morning.
Diane was a Department of Veterans Affairs employee at the Alfred P. Murrah building for 33 years, working with disabled veterans and helping them become trained for new occupations. She was also on a volunteer committee as a third-party viewer for loans at the credit union that was also in the building.
And they asked if I could come down around 9 o'clock and help them look at a couple of loans that people were applying for.
As she was headed out the door for her 9 o'clock meeting, she received a call that would ultimately save her life. Her coworker and friend, Dennis Jackson, called her just before she left her office. Putting her now behind schedule, Diane hung up the phone and headed for the stairwell.
So I looked up and I thought, oh no, I'm late. I had high heels on, but I was running because I was late on the stairs.
Once she pushed that door open, Diane's world changed forever.
And I felt like I had set the bomb off because it happened just as I was pushing the door open.
Miraculously, she was alive. In a state of shock, she attempted to exit the building when she noticed blood coming from her arm.
I made it out the back door, and as I walked out, I looked down, and my right wrist, I had suffered a open fracture.
She made it to the street where an Oklahoma City police car had just pulled up and rescued her and 2 others from the wreckage.
We were the first 3 people at St. Anthony's.
Although Diane lived through such a tragedy, she continues to be a beacon of hope and light for others.
I was always, and have always been, I think, a half glass full person and optimistic about things, which served me well during the bombing because no matter how I felt after, there was always someone who had lost a family member or several family members.
While there is no doubt this moment will always be a part of Diane's life, she refuses to make it the defining moment.
It just taught me you can go through horrific things, and if you just keep putting one foot in front of another, good things are going to happen. So you can get back to having, you know, a very fulfilling life, but it's just how you choose to deal with what happens to you.
And that's just a truly impactful story with your aunt and with you. You've obviously been personally affected by it, and your entire family has. Why don't you go a little bit more into that?
Yeah, so the bombing happened April 19th, 1995, and I was born 6 days later. April 25th, 1995 is my birthday, and to honor my aunt, who is a survivor, obviously, my middle name is Diane. So my parents decided to name me after her as well, and we live through this story every day, not just April 19th, not just once a year. So it's hard to live through that, but it means a lot just seeing the hope and the life that is still out there and that we can still make a positive out of something so horrific. So thank you.
Truly inspirational. But every year, Oklahoma City hosts the Run to Remember, an Oklahoma City marathon dedicated to raising funds for the OKC National Memorial. U Central's Jocelyn Schipperdecker has the story.
The Oklahoma City bombing of the Alfred P. Murrah building happened 27 years ago. The Oklahoma City community continues to honor the 168 people who were killed, as well as those forever changed. One way this is done is through the annual Oklahoma City Memorial Marathon, which is happening this weekend. Due to COVID-19, the race looks a bit different than it has in the past.
We have it over 2 days now. We have the Kids Marathon and the 5K on Saturday, and then on Sunday, the half full and the relay, kind of to lessen how many people we have in one concentration.
This will be the 22nd annual marathon. The course will take you through different parts of Oklahoma City and past banners with the names of those who were lost in the bombing. Runners from all over come to participate in this race to honor those who died. Sarah Wilbur is a runner in the half marathon this year.
This marathon, though, I think is just so special, this race, compared to others that I've done. One, because it's in my city, my home city of Oklahoma City. And two, I think it's just such a great way to highlight how far this city has come.
Each race starts with 168 seconds of silence to honor the 168 people who were killed in the bombing. All proceeds go towards the Memorial Museum. If you'd like to participate, you can sign up at okcmarathon.com. From Oklahoma City, Jocelyn Schifferdecker, U Central News.
Thanks, Jocelyn. And here's to hoping that the weather for the marathon running this weekend is good.
I know, MC. I know there's a lot of rain in our forecast soon. What's it going to be like?
That's right, Patrick and Jess. We're going to see a lot of rain, going into this week, into the weekend. But let's go ahead and talk about the current conditions here on campus. Right now, it's 72 degrees. That's the big number that we see. It's mostly cloudy, very cloudy outside. The sun is popping in and out, but mostly you're going to see a lot of clouds outside. Now, the biggest thing right now is those winds. It's coming in from the southeast, 25 miles per hour. And with those winds, you have wind gusts sitting at 31 miles per hour. So the winds are strong. Not a lot of rain right now. So it's dry and it's windy. So make sure you guys, of course, still staying fire weather ready or aware. Also, humidity sitting at 35%. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the temperatures across the state. We got some 70s and 60s right now. The only 50 that I'm seeing is down in Altus, 57 degrees, but that's because they got a lot of rain, a little bit of rain going on right now. Same thing in Ponca City. Got some clumps in northern Oklahoma and then down here in southwestern Oklahoma. And so those storms are pushing to the east, and that's when we're going to start seeing more rain coming in tonight as well. But that's mostly 70s and then 60s, like I said, here in Oklahoma. Now, the weather headlines for today and for tomorrow going later into the week. Right now, possible rain tonight. Not even possible. We're going to see some rain starting later tonight. There's going to be a 60% chance, and then going into tomorrow morning, that chance is going to go down to 30%. Now, we're going to have a slight risk of severe storms starting tomorrow. So, meaning slight risk, we're going to see very low potential chances of tornadoes tomorrow. Now, I'm saying very low, but we could see a tornado tomorrow because we got a lot of warm weather and then those storms coming in. So, that mixing together, we could see a tornado, but it's a very low chance. We're going to see up to golf ball size hail, so it's about a quarter to golf ball size. So also we're going to have some winds coming in at up to 60 miles per hour. So with all of those combined, we're looking at some very severe weather, possible severe weather that could be coming our way. But now that's all I have for you. I'm going to go more into detail about those forecasts for tomorrow and throughout the rest of the week into the weekend when we come back after the break with my full forecast. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, MC. And this Friday, the Regional University System of Oklahoma, which oversees UCO, will meet at 9 a.m. in Ada to discuss the university's future. Fee increases for students, how courses transfer from other universities, and President Patty Newhold Radhikumar's employment contract will be discussed at the meeting.
UCO's Department of English will be hosting a poetry reading through Zoom with Layli Long Soldier next Wednesday. The multi-award-winning writer will read some of her poems and discuss them with the attendees. The event is free and open to anyone who wishes to attend. The readings begin next Wednesday at 6 p.m. Make sure to register for the event on Zoom before it begins. And we have all been through a global pandemic for the past 2 years. Today, students gather around for the Through the Lens of the Experience Expo. They discussed new interests that spiked in the pandemic.
UCO Kinesiology Public Health held an event today in Pleasant Park. Seniors were able to take a break and to do some crafts.
This is our Through the Lens of My Experience Expo, which is related to pandemic positives, and they did a research study last semester in their health assessment evaluation course. And so that was a focus group study, and they analyzed data, and they've come up with a few things to do related to pandemic.
Students gathered around and spoke about what they liked to do over the pandemic.
We had games out here earlier, and they talked about playing games with their friends and family, stress reduction with the labyrinth. We had food because people talked about baking and cooking more during the pandemic. So tried to tie in lots of different things that we heard.
Reporting from Edmond, Amber Poston, U Central News.
Thanks, Amber. Learn how you can get a free stuffed animal here on campus coming up next.
And MC takes a look at the full weather forecast after the break.